Well, happy April to you all. Can't believe it's already April. Got a few updates for you. I'm going to go into a little bit of work, a little bit of some things that might help you personally, and then get into what's going on legislatively here in Nevada. So, to start, um, we had a leak. There's some type of leak that we're dealing with, some type of damage and insurance claims every month. This month we happen to be dealing with one where there was substantial damage. Washing machine overflowed, and we wanted to have the washing machine checked, obviously, before we finished the remodel work. So the homeowner had a home warranty. We sent them out, and their vendor came back and said, "Nope, everything's fine," which makes no sense because there was so much damage done that we had to remodel a substantial part of the home. So to be on the safe side, we recommended to our homeowner that we send out our own vendor just to be safe. And lo and behold, there were multiple items wrong with that washing machine. So now our team's going back trying to fight with the home warranty. Point of all that is just to remind you that home warranties do not have your back. They're there to make a profit, not to look out for your best interest nor those of your investment. So unless you have a really motivating reason to have one, I'm going to continue to encourage you to scrap that idea and just self-insure, or just take care of repairs instead of paying somebody else five, seven, $800 a year plus the cost of things plus the up charges that they add on. So that's my piece with that. Um, Something I've been going through is with some tax issues. I'm not an accountant, so I'm not giving you tax advice, but I can share some of my personal experiences. So a couple things, some of you might be familiar if you have small businesses or are personally incorporated some way or another, that you can write off a number of things. One of the things that we have good luck with is SUVs or trucks over 6,000 pounds. You get a Section 179 accelerated depreciation. That's worked well for us as far as vehicles that we buy for the business. And then also, we bought a building. So our office is now in a building of our own. We've been kicked out of a couple other places and frankly got sick of it. I might have mentioned that before, but the reason this is coming up for me is now, in talks with my accountant, we're discussing cost segregation, which really quickly is just, typically on like a commercial building, you would flatline depreciate out the property for 39 years. Well, there's things that we paid for here that do not have a lifespan of 39 years. Some of the furniture, the flooring, the AC units, I'm sure there's a number of things. So somebody comes in, they run this cost segregation study, and they tell us what things we can then accelerate the depreciation of that on, because at some point we're going to have to buy a new AC unit and re-depreciate that again. So for those of you that buy real estate, hopefully you're talking to your accountants and CPAs about that type of acceleration, because that could really affect your taxes and cash flow. Something else that happened to us was we were owed some money, and the money ended up getting escheated to the state treasurer's office. Happened to be doing a search and found that we were owed quite a bit of money. So I applied for it, and within a month I had that money. So I would encourage all of you to look up your state treasurer's office and look to see if there's any money owed to you. Almost everybody I knew had something owed to them. Might have only been $10, might have been $1,000. You don't know, or it could be bigger. Like if it's with a business like ours, it was even larger. So I'm very thankful that somebody turned me on to that or reminded me about it this year. I've done it a few times, but that was great. Something I would like to ask all of you is, if there's anything you'd like to see, if you've ever thought in the back of your head, boy, it'd be nice if dot dot dot, or I wish maybe this could work dot dot dot. Let me know. We are a service business, and we would love to do everything we can reasonably to make you happy. So if there's something you'd like to see, just drop me a line. Respond to this. Let me know, please. A couple things locally. Obviously, a lot of you know the Raider Stadium's done. You can go on tours now. So if any of you are interested in that, I can get tickets, or it might be open to the public, I think as of this week, but still, I have access to get that. So if you come to town, you can take a tour of the building, and it's really cool. They have some really fun behind the scenes stuff. You get to go in the owner's suite. You can go into the locker room. They have this John Gruden hologram, getting you pumped up. You can go out on the field. It's a lot of fun. So if you come to town or you live in town, I definitely suggest that. Also, I'm sure that that there's a lot of pent up demand for people to visit Vegas. If you're one of those, just a couple things. There's a resort called Circa downtown on Fremont Street. By far the nicest place down there, and I would say it rivals some of the strip casinos. Really nice place. You'll hear about their pool, you'll hear about their sports book, just massive um, uh, things that they put together. Resorts World is a huge project that it's coming up, going to be finished here pretty soon as well. That'll be really cool when that's done as well. That'll probably be the newest spot on the strip. And something just goofy. You might have them in other parts of the country. Obviously, I don't drive around everywhere, so I don't see it. But Carvana has this. It looks like a toy box. It's probably 10, 12 stories tall, and it's just all their cars lined up in this big glass container. They've got a little system that lifts it up and down, and it's right next to the freeway. They put all their really bright color cars in it. It's a great marketing idea. Kind of a cool little novel thing. I know my kids love seeing when we drive by it. So aside from that, I just have some legislative updates. Uh, so I've been working with um, a group of local property managers to fight some of this legislation, and also our state board of realtors also has been lobbying against a number of things. So just wanted to help you understand what's been going on and what we've fought against, because it's a pretty big deal. We've had to throw a lot of time and money at these things. So, just some of the stuff that's been going on. They were looking at increasing notice periods. If we wanted to give somebody just a notice to vacate, it could be upwards of 60 to 90 days. Luckily, we were able to get that part of one of the laws removed. But something that was attached to that was that the senators wanted to see evictions sealed, evictions during COVID sealed. It doesn't really make a lot of sense unless they extend it past COVID, because everybody that's but going to be evicted will be after the moratorium's over. So I don't know that they've thought that through, but we were able to negotiate just that part to then remove all the additional notice to vacate times. Because if you imagine you have a tenant in your property for 3 years and you decide you want to move back into it or sell it, you have to give them a 90-day notice. That's nuts. So we got rid of that. There was legislation to eliminate summary evictions, meaning, we kind of have a fast track where typically we can get people removed the same month. Somebody doesn't pay rent on the 1st, usually by the 30th, I can have them out in a normal time, not COVID, obviously. They were trying to remove that, which would then make it a complete legal process, where we would be getting judgments. And if I'm getting judgments on people and we have to go 3 months to evict this person, we're going to have to start collecting. Because normally you have to sue somebody, you have to serve them, you have to do all these things to be able to get a judgment. So if we're getting judgments, we're going to be leaning property and garnishing wages and all that. But luckily that went away. So the summary evictions are back to stay for now. They could revisit that in 2 years, because we have our legislative session is every other year. So luckily that's gone. We were working on removing eviction mediation. We wanted it to sunset at the end of the eviction moratorium, at the end of May, but we were not able to fight on that one. So there's been a lot of talk of security deposits, cleaning deposits, removing application fees, which is just obscene, because I have to pay for the background screening. I have to pay for somebody to go through. I have an employee. That's what they do, is go through and call landlords, call employers. They're looking on social media. They're doing everything they can to see if this person's legit, on top of trying to make sure the pay stubs aren't fake and all of that. So they're trying to get rid of us not even being able to charge an app fee. They've negotiated a bit to where we can only charge one app fee at a time. That's still going to be pretty rough and definitely going to slow down the application process, because it's still not in your best interest as a homeowner. Our thought is, we choose the most qualified person, not just the first person to run in with a check in their hand, because the second or third one might have, twice as good credit rating or better job or longevity, and we believe more in doing what's best for the property. So none of these are done. This isn't complete, but a lot of these have been killed and are off the table. So when there's a final update, I will share that with you as well. But just so you know the progress that we're making. So they're trying to say things where we can't have a cleaning deposit greater than 15% of the rent, which is nuts, because if somebody leaves it trashed, it could be $300 to clean a place that maybe only rents for $800. So there's just some silliness going on in there that we're still fighting. They're trying to say only fees that are allowed, that are provided in law. That doesn't always work. An HOA could tell us that there's a fine for leaving the garbage can out that changed that's not in the lease. So we're trying to work with them on that. And when I say them, I mean the legislators that are promoting these bills. There was an interesting one, source of income. So in some parts of the country, things like unemployment, Section 8, other type of government benefits have to be considered as income, and it's a protected class. You can't say that I won't accept this or that. They tried to pass that, and we got that shot down. So we're very happy to hear that, because frankly, that's just not fair, we feel, to our clients and our landlords. Discrimination in housing, I'm fine with that. Discrimination's garbage. What they did is allow another party to be able to investigate it. They were trying to get rid of criminal record research and sex offender research. Again, we were fighting that. We don't think that's appropriate. So we are fighting that, and I think that those will come back to so that we're still allowed to do that. Notice of rent increases, they went up slightly. So from 45 days to 60 days, or 15 days to 30 days if it's a less than a month tenancy. That doesn't really matter to us too much, because we sign a new lease each time we are renewing with a tenant, because the laws change all the time, rules change, life changes. Just there's always something that we need to update. And frankly, I just think it's just lazy to have a little 2-line addendum with the same lease you've had for 3 years. I think that's just lazy managing. So we don't do that anyway, so I don't really care about that section. Property management permit, we were trying to actually get that, I'm for this, have that as a separate license as compared to just being a permit attached to being a real estate agent. So every property manager has to have a license to sell real estate, even if they don't do that. So we were trying to get that done with additional schooling, education, things like that. Honestly, I feel the barrier to entry is way too easy. So I was all for that, but that actually got shot down as well. Another big one that probably would have scared a lot of people and was a huge infringement, in our opinion, was the Registry of Landlords. They were trying to require all landlords to annually register their property, all their contact information, the information about the lease, the rates, I mean everything, personal information, and we just thought it was a huge overreach. So we definitely fought that, and that is long gone. Oh, and we were not allowed to manage for somebody that would not register their property. So it was just, that was crazy. There was a bill to increase property taxes. We got that killed. There was like 10 other bills we got knocked down, which was great. Probably going to be a few more weeks before we get another update. But anyway, I'll just include that probably in next month's update. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great day. It's a balmy mid-70s, sunny out here in the desert, and it's going to be into the 80s next week and probably into the 90s the week after. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, now's probably a great time to get out here and enjoy it before it's blistering hot. So anyway, have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you next month.